Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. This is a special edition of Heel Heat. We're going to give you a little bit of a peek inside of Heel Heat.
I'm Gary Rhodes, and this is my co-host, Mantar.
Mantar's never been a tag team partner. That's why he doesn't do the opening.
But you look like Mantar. I say Bruce Valanche. We'll see how many comments we get on that.
Anyhow, what we're doing now, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to give you a look behind what makes us. Usually we talk about the wrestling shows and wrestlers. This time we're going to talk about us. And Gary is actually going to do an interview of me.
All right, sir, are you ready?
Are you ready?
First question is, what got you into watching wrestling?
Well, when I was a kid, the first thing I could really remember watching vividly was Jimmy Superfly Snuka. I remember his matches, and this was even before the rock and wrestling era. This had to be about the time of the infamous cage dive. I don't remember that specific match, but I remember watching him as early as probably 3 or 4 years old.
All right, my next question is, best moment in wrestling in your opinion?
The best moment, in my opinion, and I'm a little bit biased on this, was ECW Barely Legal. ECW was a company that I loved so much, and they finally made it to the big time, made it to the pay-per-view.
That's weird. I didn't think that would have been... that was a great moment, but I figured you would have been Mick Foley winning his first WWE title.
That's also a great moment, but ECW meant so much to me. ECW was Philadelphia, and being from that area, seeing my guys, it was kind of like seeing the Phillies win the World Championship. You see your guys actually make it to the big time.
Ah, yeah, that's good. Like your home area is ECW, Cheesesteaks, and Rocky Balboa.
Exactly.
There you go. All right, my third question is, what wrestler or wrestling personality do you think hurt the business the most, and why?
I'd have to go with the Ultimate Warrior, just barely beating out Hulk Hogan, because despite all the pushes he got, he never really had the passion for the business. Hulk Hogan has the passion and had the passion for the business and wanted to bring in mainstream. Warrior was only out for himself and only cared about a paycheck.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one there. We're number 4. Best technical wrestler in the business of all time. Any company.
This is kind of a hard one. It's kind of a toss-up. The first person that comes to my mind is Dean Malenko, the shooter. But you also got guys like Bret Hart, guys like Harley Race, guys like Nick Bockwinkel. In my honest opinion, I'd have to go with Malenko just because I've seen more of his body of work. A little bit better than Hart, because Malenko was just so technically crisp and so underrated at what he could do.
All right, now this here's a kind of a funny question. In a way. Number 5, the saddest moment in wrestling and why? Or saddest day in wrestling and why?
Honestly, the day that Owen Hart died, the Over the Limit pay-per-view. It was a pay-per-view I was watching, and there was just this feeling, even when it happened, when you didn't know what happened, that something really bad happened. And it was right at a time where I was turning from like a teenager into an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So it really, death really started. I really started understanding the concept of death more in life. And I understood, just the whole thing, just the timing, what happened, how it happened. It bummed me out probably for about a week and a half straight.
That happened like right after my 21st birthday.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was just barely becoming an adult and understanding more.
All right, I got one for you here. That was good. Number 6. What match would you show a non-wrestling fan to turn them to being a fan?
It's easy to say something like Steamboat vs. Savage, but there's so much technical stuff in that it would... I think that a non-fan might get lost on that. I would have to say the 3-way match between Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Chris Benoit.
Classic match. Awesome
you had basically everything you had every style of wrestling. There's not a break in the action. So you see the different styles, the different, basically you get a little taste of everything in it.
And all three of them were the best in their areas of expertise in the business,
Exactly.
too. Yeah, that was a great match. Right now, if you were a booker, how would you improve TNA?
First of all, I would kill the aces and eights. The storylines went on too long. I'd reveal it, get it over with. I'd start cleaning house on some of the overpriced contracts that aren't adding much to the roster, like Hulk Hogan, like Eric Bischoff. Guys that I don't think are bringing anything to the product.
Yeah, very good question, or very good answer. This is kind of a similar question, but not. What match would you book right now if you were in WWE and they gave you the book to book WrestleMania 29? What would be the main event you would book for?
If I had just the 2 months to build from now, or do I have the whole time to book?
Whole year.
Okay. So I've had since last year.
Last night was WrestleMania 28, and you're working on 29 right now.
I wouldn't have brought The Rock into it. I would have made it Stone Cold versus CM Punk, the straight edge superstar versus the beer guzzling redneck.
Would you put the belt on the line of that?
I definitely would.
I think that would outdo the Cena Rock. That's just my opinion. All right. Right here, number 9. What wrestler would you love to have a beer with?
Terry Funk.
Good one there.
We're talking about 40 years in the business. He's been around and wrestled everybody, and he could probably tell stories that the stories that Terry Funk could tell you would just blow your mind. I mean, he's been in NWA, AWA, WWF, WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA.
Wasn't he in WWF too?
Yeah, I mean he's been everywhere. Japan, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Canada. I mean the stories that this guy could tell you. And he's an awesome talker. So
his ring work was really revolutionary too. All right. Speaking of ring work, your favorite match of all time?
That's kind of a hard one. It's one I go kind of back and forth on from time to time. See, because some of my favorite matches aren't necessarily the best technical matches. Man, this one's kind of stumping me a little bit. I'd have to say the first TLC match. The Dudleys versus the Hardys versus Edge and Christian. That match, I mean, it was so revolutionary. If you put it on now, it probably doesn't hold up, but...
Honestly, I disagree. I think it would hold up.
Well, I mean, you've seen all the spots in it a million times now.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that you right on the nail.
But I thought it was an awesome match.
All right, now it's time for the word association. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Paul Heyman.
Genius.
Hulk Hogan.
Idiot.
Starcade.
That's a hard one. I have to say pageantry.
CM Punk.
Best in the world.
Kane.
Most underrated wrestler.
We mentioned this earlier. The Montreal Screwjob.
I'd say work.
I think so too. Number 7, Chris Benoit.
The Crippler.
Number 8, WCW.
Egos.
Number 9, ECW.
The greatest.
Number 10, Raven.
Genius.
Okay, that's it on my questions. Anything else you got to say?
Mm.
All right. I'm Gary Rhodes.
I'm George Coles.
This has been a special edition of Heel Heat.